Okay, I'm going to show you how you can, say, for example, you and your spouse create meals together, but not have to create recipes with all the ingredients on both phones. So first, what you need to do is make sure that in your settings, you have the diary settings changed to friends. So right here, diary sharing. Make sure it does not say private, because then you cannot go into each other's phones and see, or go into each other's MyFitnessPal app usernames and see the diary stuff listed. So it has to say friends in order for you to be sharing information. So make sure you change that. And obviously you have to add them as a friend. So I have added my husband on here, right here, Wade Bednars. So now I can go in and I can see his diary. So for example, this week, we are doing chicken parm. So I have created the recipe in my phone with the chicken parm. I can't see the ingredients. That's the only disadvantage, is you can't see the ingredients listed. You can only see meal items that are listed. So the chicken parm recipe, broccoli, and the pasta. But that's okay because it's in my phone. I know how to make it. I'm the one making it anyways. So whoever's going to be the main cook is going to want to have all the ingredients entered in as a recipe. And then you can just copy on the other phone into the other one's diary. The reason you're doing this is because you're both going to have different goals. So for example, like maybe your husband is trying to build strength. He's going to need more protein. Maybe overall calories are more. So you can still be eating the same thing, but have it so that at least one of the meals you can be like you can kind of add to. So for example, the chicken parm, I have it made for myself, but I can add in, I can just cook chicken separately, plain chicken, and I could add a little bit more of cooked chicken to his dish if he needed more protein. Maybe he needs less carbs, so I can still save this meal, and then I can tweak the pasta on his end after. So what you would do is save meal. You would call it chicken parm. Oh my gosh, parm. And then you would press save at the top right hand corner there. And then it's gonna save into, I'll show you here. So then we'd go to back, you're gonna go back, and you're gonna go to more, you're gonna go to recipe, meals and foods, and meals. Chicken parm from hubby, boom, there it is. Chicken parm, broccoli, and pasta. So then when you go add, you're gonna press that. So we'll say we'll add meal in. So we'll go to tomorrow. And we're gonna go add food, my meals, chicken parm from hubby, check mark. And then if you go look at what's listed there, so see it lists the items, not listing the ingredients, obviously, for the recipe, but I could still adjust this. So maybe he's gonna have more broccoli. So I could go 200 grams. Maybe he's gonna have more on that instead of what I'm gonna have. Or maybe he's gonna have less pasta. Or he's gonna have a full serving. He's gonna have more pasta. So I can adjust that kind of stuff after, but I can't adjust the recipe that I've created. So this just saves you some time so that you guys can be prepping, like I said, prepping the same meals, but make it so that at least one of the meals you can kind of tweak if needed, to add in more protein or take away carbs or whatever it is, depending on your goals. One other really helpful thing is, so you can go to more, go to recipe, meals and foods. And now when I personally post a meal, so say I posted my chicken parm meal and you didn't want to create a recipe, you just wanted to use the exact ingredients that I had posted, you were going to create the same amount of servings, everything was going to be the same, you could go create food. So you could call it chicken parm and description, main meal, I don't know, name it whatever you want. So it's one serving, one dish, and it's one per container. So then you would go next, if I can click next. So next, okay. So at the top you would go next. Okay, so then we're gonna get to here. So when I post the recipes that I share with you guys, I post how many calories are in each meal. So for example, that chicken parm had 344, and that's not with the pasta and the broccoli. That is just the recipe that I had created. So it had 344 calories. I also always post the amount of fat that's in will just be, for example, the amount of fat that's in the meal, the amount of carbs, and the amount of protein. We'll say 30. Okay, so then instead of you going and creating the recipe with those ingredients, it's kind of tedious. You are just literally going to use the recipe that I shared to a T, making sure you're splitting it into, say, for example, I split it into 5 servings. Then you don't have to go through the time of creating the recipe. You can just create it as a food, go save, maybe. Oh my gosh, I can't click it with this recording at the top. Maybe not. Okay, well, it's not letting me save, but it's just because that's where my screen recorder is. So yeah, so then you would save it, and then you are good to go. You would just make sure that you cook it exactly how I have posted it, with the exact brands and ingredients. Now, if you're changing anything, you're using different pasta, say you're gluten-free, you're using a gluten-free pasta, you're gonna have to create it as a recipe because it's going to come up with different calories and different macronutrients. But if everything is gonna be exactly how I have it listed, then you might as well just do it that way. So that is super helpful when I send out emails to my clients. I send them a whole bunch of meal ideas, and then all they have to do if they're making it is just create a food, and then you're good to go. It saves you a little bit of the work when it comes to creating the recipe. I will eventually be having an ebook come out that's going to have all kinds of recipes in it, and making sure that I use like exact brands of the ingredients and everything so that you guys can do that. Just save you a little bit of time. So hopefully that helps. So you can go in, you and hubby can, or whoever are going to be able to prep meals together. Just make sure it's something that you can kind of change if need be. And then it saves you from creating 4 or 5 meals. And yeah, just saves you a little bit of time so that it's not so much work. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.